Oh, Diabate is going to be the spot that we discussed today for sure. But fellas, we're live. How we doing? Chuck Silver and Jayhawk with Occupy Fantasy to bring you the strategy for DraftKings and FanDuel. Uh, Kind of a fun one today. We had a ton of games, NBA games going on. We already had that showdown in the morning. We had a three-gamer shout out to Minnesota, I guess. FanDuel cut off the Washington Phoenix game for some reason, so we have an 8-gamer over there, but we have 9 games on DraftKings. I think it's a pretty good slate. Jayhawk, how we doing? How we feeling about today?
Yeah, man, fun slate tonight. Coming off a three-gamer last night, had a bunch of screenshots in the Discord, so always love to see that. But yeah, fun slate tonight. Excited to break this down per usual.
Dude, we nailed it yesterday. Like what I was saying about listen to me for tournament plays. We nailed the tournament plays, but Micic was awful. Cody Martin got hurt, which was terrible. But we Smitty had a lineup with Josh Okogie. Had another good night, dude. Whatever Smitty says right now, just listen to him because he is on fire. Big time heater. So hopefully we can keep that up. And Nick and Jayhawk and myself have been doing all right too. But Smitty's just winning every day. He even sent me like a League of Legends screenshot earlier. Like, what are you doing, dude? But when you're winning, man. So let's see
Love
what
it.
we got here.
Shout out to Steve.
What's up, Amari? Thanks for being here. Ben Jeezy, first time listener. Well, I hope we say the right stuff to keep you around. Thanks for showing up. Savage, let's get the bag. Heath, good to see you. Kadiri, yeah, it's Saturday. And remember, it is Saturday, so people don't swap as much. And today, there is just, I reviewed the injury report twice, and I still have no idea what's going on. So we're going to get into it, do a few if-thens. The pace that I've been going at's been kind of slow, so we're going to skip over some players on teams that we just don't think are relevant. If you guys think they are, throw it in the chat, and we can go back to it. And Jayhawk, if I'm moving on before you're ready, just interrupt me, and we'll get back to it. But you want to
Okay.
just start with this first game? Let's do the Pelicans first. We got some late news. It's not that late, but I just want to make sure the model's updated. Mark Williams is going to be out, but for the Pelicans, oh, I guess we just got news DeJounte's out too, so we need to wait for that update. Nice. Good start. Detroit. I don't believe we're waiting on any news from Detroit, right? This is also in that first set of games. We just have
Yep.
Jaden Ivey still out here.
Yep.
So
Yep.
to me, toughest matchup in the NBA. They're playing Orlando. Total's not great. Spread is close. 210 total. It's one of the lowest I've seen all season. Once again, I'm pretty much just looking at Cade, maybe a couple percent of these other guys. What are you looking at on Detroit?
Yeah. So Detroit, you mentioned it. Tough spot here overall. I think Kate. I agree. Probably my favorite play if I'm getting to anyone. But don't love the spot. I'll mention Azar here. I played him the last slate at a super low ownership. I'm pretty sure he got there, but I don't really love Detroit here overall.
Yeah, it's just not a spot that I think we want to get much exposure to. First game, like I said, it's against Orlando. I think we can take shots on Cade as a pay up, but 10,600 on DraftKings is getting kind of expensive. Just looking at Cade versus the rest of the players, let me just sort this for DK main. He's down here. He's 10,600. We have a handful of players that are cheaper than him that rank out better on the model. In terms of value, he doesn't really stand out. So if you want to take shots here, I think he's okay. But if you want to fade this whole team, and actually this whole game, because I don't think I'm really into anyone from Orlando too, it worked out last time. We didn't get that until the Q&A with Smitty, but we recommended fading Orlando, then that worked. And the same thing today. Players are back. Jalen Suggs is back. Minutes are going to be a little bit lower. And we know that Franz is about on a 24-minute limit. I think Paolo might be up to 33 now. What's your interest level in the Orlando side?
Yeah, once again, I think all these guys look fine. If I had to pick one, I think Banchero's probably the guy here. Uh, at 33 minutes, I think he's viable as a loan, but I just don't love anyone on this side as well. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I'm actually full fading this game on DraftKings. Zero exposure to both teams, which I'm very comfortable with. Paolo, it's just 8,500 is an okay price for 33 minutes. We don't know he's going to play 33. Franz, I think he's on 24. He played 24 last game. Maybe it goes up by 2, but either way, it's just not even in consideration for the price. Wendell Carter's too expensive. Jalen Suggs. On FanDuel, we can consider him at 5,500. Did you see any kind of word on minutes limit for Jalen Suggs?
I did not. I'd have to imagine probably around 25 to 30, but that's not 100%.
I gotta guess 24. I don't think he was out as long as Franz was. Maybe I'm mistaken on that, but again, the
Yeah.
26, I would just feel more comfortable giving him 24, and maybe that gives me a few percent over on FanDuel. I can go check, I guess. Other thing I'll point out: no one at all stands out for value. Like KCP stood out as the top value on the slate a few slates ago. Today, even at the 4,300 price, just looking at the rest of the guys here, he's just not it. This is about the range we're looking for value on DK today. Above 14 is pretty good, and then on FanDuel for value, I would say above 13 is pretty good, but above 14 is going to be the strongest value there too. Remember, it's always relative to that day.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have an update for Charlotte. Yeah, there's not many shows on the weekend, so we always appreciate getting the extra viewers. Courtney, today is a good day. Courtney's one of the hardest grinders in our Discord, always trying to improve. Love that. It's just fastest paced games. Utah-Memphis, I think, is the highest total today, right?
Yes, I think the Charlotte game is somewhere close behind it, but yeah, Utah game for sure. Top game.
Nah, Utah-Memphis is up by like 15 on them.
Oh, it
Two,
is. Oh,
yeah, 247 for Utah-Memphis. Then the next closest is the Atlanta game versus Toronto at 235. So, yeah, I mean, Utah-Memphis we're interested in regardless of the total, but that's definitely going to be a spot we're going to take a closer look at.
for sure.
Jerome, let's get it. Yeah, Banchero's been sucking. Yeah, he's been pretty bad, but he's just getting back into the rhythm. As long as he's there by the end of the season.
He's been shooting pretty bad too.
Yep. Everyone should listen to Charles Moran. Give us a like. Appreciate you. DeRozan's been good versus the Knicks. I don't hate DeRozan tonight, which is weird because I usually do. Thugga, I'll flash these Yahoo values on the screen for you. Typical guys up top. Diabite is going to be the big one today. Nance Diabite on FanDuel. You think Nance gets a start at the 4? Yeah, Larry Nance is back. If you don't know him, he's the brother of Pete Nance, and so we'll take a look at him. He went up 500 on FanDuel. Franz. Yeah, I don't think we can play anyone on that team today. Maybe a couple of the value guys like KCP, but other than that, it's too tough. Let's talk about this other first game, New Orleans and Charlotte. Let's start with Charlotte. Mark Williams is out. Cody Martin's out. LaMelo and Miles Bridges and Seth Curry are probable. Did we get updates on them?
Yeah, I think all these or Lamelo's in for sure. Obviously, Bridges. I think everyone should be mostly in for the most part now.
Everyone's in. Okay.
Yeah, outside of Miller and then Martin, obviously you mentioned.
Okay. Did we get that LaMelo news like way earlier? Because I don't.
Yeah, he's
That he's-
probable.
Okay, so he's not official, but we'll assume that he's in then. According to the model, LaMelo, good play. Miles Bridges, good play. Nick Smith, 8.0 OF index at this price is insane. We called him the best play on the slate yesterday. He ended up being about that. At 24% on this huge slate, I still think he's fine, even though he's in the first game. At 48% on FanDuel, at 4,500, I get it. What do you think about Nick Smith's ownership today?
I actually like it once again. Even with Lamella back, I think with Martin out here, he's probably still a little bit too cheap, and the model agrees with it. So I'm going back there once again.
Yeah, I like it. Nick Smith is definitely the guy I want to get to here. Even if LaMelo's out, like I don't think people are going to go back to Micic because he burned everybody yesterday, but I wouldn't mind getting back there as a GPP play, not as a chalk play. Yeah, getting a pretty decent amount of Nick Smith on DraftKings. Getting a decent amount of LaMelo and Miles Bridges, too. We have some good value today. It's not hard to pay up, but I do kind of want to pivot off these guys a little bit. They are good plays, but this ownership is so high for as many studs at their positions as we have on this slate.
Yeah.
And then
I like him. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was just gonna say, I agree. I think Lamelo probably is the best pay up, but he's also 40% owned, which definitely lowers his tournament appeal.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's I mean, he doesn't have to see DeJounte on the other side. Maybe now he gets Jose Alvarado, which might be worse for him, but we'll see. I don't think Jose can play that many minutes yet. He's just coming back from injury. The big spot on the slate, though, 7.7 OF index at the flat min on DraftKings. DK value through the roof. FanDuel value very, very high. Musa Diabite expected to start. I want to say he played mid-20s minutes last time that they were in this spot, because today it's really just him and Taj Gibson playing the center minutes. So what are we doing with Diabite? Is this a spot we can consider locking?
Yeah, 3K flat, pretty good producer, and on top of that, good matchup against New Orleans. So I think he's pretty close to a lock at his price on DraftKings.
This isn't that fantasy relevant, but if you guys remember earlier in the season when Diabite was the man here, when Nick Richards and Mark Williams were both hurt, there was a 2-week stretch where when Diabite was on the court, Charlotte Hornets had the best defensive rating in NBA history, number one. And then when he was off the court in those same games, they were dead last. And so his defensive impact is huge. And now that's a 2-week sample. He's not the best defensive player in NBA history, but if he's playing well, I think he's got to play this 28 minutes. 64% is actually kind of low. I currently have 94%, and I've been talking a lot about diversifying my exposures. My second highest player is less than 50, so it's basically just Diabite. I'm kind of playing a lot of today, I guess. I'll probably reduce him a little bit, but it's just the flat min. Yeah, he takes up a center spot, but if we can project him for mid-20s minutes, he's just a really, really strong play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, completely agree there. I'm going to have a ton.
Because it's just like, okay, you could look at him and say, I don't like Diabite. Well, he's priced at 3K. If DraftKings had this information that Mark Williams would be out, whatever, like Diabite would be at least mid 4,000. So we're saving 1,500 plus. It's pretty significant. I will say the rest of the field's playing him. You don't have to get all there. Like, I'm probably going to come down from this 94%, but this is one of the most important parts of the slate, is getting Moussa Diabite right or wrong.
Yep, agreed.
I think we just play him though.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jam him.
Yeah, don't want 100. Still don't want 100, but gonna want a lot of him. Yeah, Jose Alvarado popping up to the top of value for the Pelicans with DeJounte out. We haven't projected for 25 minutes. That seems pretty reasonable. At 25 minutes, he's a very strong play. I don't know if he has the potential to play more since he's kind of coming off an injury, but these ownerships already seem a little bit high. I'm curious to see what he comes in at, since this is in that first game too.
Yeah, I like him a lot here. Good matchup, and he's too cheap, I think, without DeJounte here.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. Jose Alvarado. 18, 17, 23, so we at least know he's capable of playing 23 after the injury. These are pretty solid fantasy scores for the minutes. We remember that when he starts at point guard, he is a fantastic fantasy producer. Really like him. So I like this chalk. I'm going to get to Jose Alvarado. Model approved, too. Maybe it's still updating. We'll refresh later and see.
Do you like any other cheap guys without a DeJounte here, like Hawkins or I guess mainly Hawkins?
I'm always going to be interested in Hawkins. 3,200 on DK at 7%. I'm fairly certain if Smitty was on the show today, he would say that he was one of his favorite tournament value plays. So I'll go ahead and throw that out for him. And yeah, I think he's a good play. Not a guy we jam in. I'd like to see what the ownership adjusts to later in the as it gets closer to lock.
Yeah, I think he's fine in the tournament pivot.
Other pay-ups, so Zion is projected for 4 and 14% ownership at these prices. I kind of feel similar to him how I feel about Paolo and Franz. It's just, yeah, these guys can do it in low minutes. I mean, Zion is this is over 2 fantasy points a minute over the last few games, which is insane. But he's still only playing 23 and 24, and I still just don't really want to take that risk. I'd rather play like anyone else, although I will say it's a really good matchup for him against Charlotte.
Yeah, you nailed it there. I think I'm probably just fine getting to the field there. It's tough to play him on a minutes cap for sure.
I really liked Trey Murphy yesterday. He let us down. He's 8,400. We have a lot more games on the slate today, but I am still getting a couple percent. Not even at this 3% though. I have 2 something, and then a couple shots on CJ McCollum, and I have 1% of Yves Missy. I don't even know if that'll stay through lock though.
Yeah, I like the CJ shout. I think this is a pretty good spot in tournaments. Good spot for him to shoot well, so I don't hate that shot at all.
What you say about Ty Jerome? Dude, Ty Jerome was the man yesterday. I can't believe he came in so low, and that was like one of the best pivots I've ever seen if you got off Micic for Ty Jerome. Smitty did. You didn't take Micic? Smart man.
I did yesterday.
Well, yeah, I played him too. I was below the field, but still hurt. Roddy 3,700 on FanDuel. We'll see if he's in play. Josh Hart game time decision. So the player that I'm actually interested is Miles McBride if Josh Hart's out because I think that he's the guy that gets to start. But we would be looking closer at the rest of the Knicks starters too if Josh Hart misses. Do I think Zion gets 30 minutes tonight? No. We have him for 28, and I don't even think he gets the 28. What's the deal with Gui Santos? What's the deal with this Quentin Post guy on the Warriors? They just keep pulling random guys out that can play at an NBA level. It's bizarre. It's really hard to play anyone on that team right now besides Steph.
Yeah.
Hawkins, we talked about it. Murray's out. CJ McCollum trade bait. I don't know what the plan with that team is, so I would not be surprised. Murphy might be better. I like Murphy as a tournament play. He's super expensive, but I think he's still fine to take shots on. Bruce Bound and Ty Jerome. We'll get to those guys when we get to those games. Next game, though, Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox is probable. I was kind of hoping he misses because that would open up a couple of plays, and DeMar DeRozan and Malik Monk. DeMantis would be better too. But as it is right now, we have De'Aaron Fox in. We only have 7 players on this team projected for more than 10 minutes. What do you think about the Sacramento Kings today?
Yeah, so kind of similar to the Orlando Detroit game. I'm probably gonna have a little bit more exposure here, but still nothing crazy. Fox and Sabonis, I think, are both fine up top. I don't think either one's a priority for me, but at 4 and 7% or 7 and what's Sabonis 2-3%, I think they're fine. But you mentioned DeRozan. Talk to me more about how you feel with him
I
tonight.
mean, I don't know. He's like, I don't like him. I don't think the field likes him, but for fantasy, he's been a pretty good play recently. He gets there, and his price doesn't go up because still no one wants to play him. It's just the way he scores fantasy points. Yeah, he has to get real points, but dude, this is a run. DeMar's been playing awesome. If you guys were here yesterday, I was talking about how bad Tyrese Maxey's efficiency has been. This is the opposite. Like DeMar, yeah, whatever. He's a bad 3-point shooter, but 6,900. He's only projected for 4% ownership over on DK. The 7,700 on FanDuel is a little tough, but at 69 on DraftKings, I want to be over that 4% for sure, and I am on my first run.
Yeah, I like that shot a lot.
Let's say the off chance De'Aaron Fox misses, it's really the biggest boost to Malik Monk. He's only 7,200 on DraftKings. That's a player I'm definitely going to target the most. And then the offense already runs through DeMantis, and so he's going to get a slight boost, sure, but I don't think it's enough to like be like, oh man, we got to play DeMantis. So just watch what happens to the ownership in that case. And then Keon Ellis would obviously jump up as one of the better values if Fox misses and he ends up starting for him.
Yep, agreed. I think you nailed it there.
Why is Hunter the cover picture? I don't know, man. We don't pick it. We just show up, and whoever is on there is on there. I didn't even notice it was Hunter today. Maybe he was showing up as like one of the top values on the model this morning or something like that.
Come on, Boyle. You gotta be better.
DeRozan only if Fox is out. So I don't mind that, but I think a lot of the field has that kind of mindset too. They don't want to play DeMar with Fox in, and so this ownership is low enough that he's still a good target, 36.5-minute projection, and it's just that 6,900 price really is the reason why we're interested. On the other side of the game, New York, we need this news on Josh Hart. Kind of lean towards him sitting. That's not really based on anything, just, I don't know, my vibe on the tweet, I guess. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50. Josh Hart, I feel like that dude's a dog, so I think he might try to play it, but we'll have to wait and see.
He's so tired, man. We got an update 12 minutes ago. He's a game time decision, so we don't know anything more. Let's talk about this as if Josh Hart is in, because that's how the model has it. I mean, we already know the starters are all going to be projected for 36-plus minutes. That's insane, first of all. Off the bench, it's going to be hard to look at any of these guys if everyone plays, considering the other value that we have on the slate. But, I mean, Cat showing up as a very strong OF index play, Jalen Brunson too, and then Josh Hart just on the outside of that double-digit OF index. And McHale and OG just tournament plays. Is there anything that stands out here to you?
Yeah, so I think both Mikel and OG, if Josh Hart were to miss, I think would get boosts. Now, if Hart, assuming he plays here, I think they all look fine at their prices. Um, I think they're all just fine. I don't have like a huge stand, but Cat, kind of want to hear your take up top. I think he's in play. Good price. He's had a couple down games, a couple of good games. What's your kind of take here with Cat?
I think he's been one of my favorite plays every single day that he plays, and especially in the Sacramento matchup. I mean, he has a pretty good OF index, 13.8. He's what, third overall, but his price is so much cheaper. And actually, on the DK main, I'm sorry, he is the top play of the day, top pay up. And so I'm at about 20% on DraftKings right now, and I don't have more than 1% of any of the rest of the Knicks. Maybe I'll adjust that, and that'll definitely change if Josh Hart is out. But Cat at 14%. I mean, this guy has one of the highest ceilings on this slate. I think he's actually my highest projected player overall today.
Yeah, I love it. Him and like LaMelo, I guess in terms of spend ups, kind of my favorite overall.
Yeah, I have Cat, Anthony Davis, and LaMelo basically in a category of their own up top. And so that's not too indifferent from the model. Anthony Davis is a little bit lower. LaMelo, like Scotty Barnes and Trae Young, maybe the model's just telling us these two are that good of plays because LaMelo still looks pretty good.
Yeah, that's kind of my take too.
So New York, I think we like Cat. If Josh Hart misses, we can play the other guys, but otherwise, no one's really a priority there.
Yep.
Let's jump to Houston. Amin Thompson leads the NBA in minutes in 2025. He might be the best player on their team. It feels like Sengun is losing minutes. We have him projected for 31. Amin Thompson projected for 38. No one wants to play him at this new AK price. It's a little bit of sticker shock, but do you guys not remember like the scores that he was putting up when he was much cheaper? If he puts up those scores today, and he has been doing it almost every game, he smashes this 8K price. And so it's a tough matchup against Cleveland, but to me, that just means he has to be on the court. And I'm not really fearing targeting fantasy players against Cleveland. And so it's a little risky because if he puts up 30, you can't win a tournament. But if he puts up 49.5, you're going to be thrilled to have him. And this was actually just against Cleveland. Didn't even realize they played 3 days ago.
Yep. Well, always love Amen. He's just a stud, man. So like him in tournaments for sure.
Model approved tournament shout. I will mention the values aren't stellar, but they're just on the cusp of what we're really looking for. Jalen Green's price came up. Still don't mind him, though. 7,300 at 2%. That's okay to take a few shots on. Is there anything else you're looking at on Houston?
Yeah, not too much. I think it's probably just Amen. Maybe you could play Jalen Green, but I'd rather just play Amen.
I have a few percent of Cam Whitmore. Not sure what's going to happen to that when I adjust the other values, but if it's not for the other values, Cam Whitmore looks okay. And in terms of value, we'd like to see this a little bit higher since he's so cheap. But at 1%, I mean, we've seen him do it like every game recently, so I think it's fine to take shots on. Let's see.
Yeah, I wasn't getting too much of Whitmore, but I don't hate that shot.
I have 3%, so it's like, all right, he's in there, in my 100 lineups today. Other side of this game, Cleveland. Donovan Mitchell's kind of been the Donovan Mitchell that we expect lately after kind of not being Donovan Mitchell for a while. What do you think about him and Garland up top?
Yeah, so these guys have kind of varied game to game, but I think in this matchup against Houston, I think they both look good. I still slightly do prefer Garland at his price at 7,700, but I think both of them are firmly in play. So yeah, I think I slightly prefer Garland, but it's super close. Did you have a preference tonight?
I have barely more Donovan, and I've been pretty bearish on Garland overall throughout his entire career. It's only recently that I started like, all right, Garland's kind of good. We can play him. Today, his price is just a little up there, and I'm pretty sure we have a ton of value at the guard spot. And regardless of that, I think I'd rather just pay all the way up at point guard today if I'm doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more likely going to pay it for Barnes.
I will mention, so like OF index, Donovan Mitchell, he's okay. Jared Allen's good at the price. Evan Mobley, I don't know. Maybe he plays today. We'll see. We'll have to get that update. We're assuming Mobley and Karis LeVert play as of now, though. Garland 9.0 OF index is fine. These are poor points per dollar scores, the 4 to 5% ownership. I think he's a tournament play, and I don't think he's a particularly good one at that. But if Karis misses, Ty Jerome at 4,100, we're going to take shots on there. It's Saturday. Even though this is only the second game on the slate, I don't know if people are going to swap onto him if we get that news. And no matter what, he just probably comes in under-owned. We saw him hit a super ceiling yesterday, so hopefully we can get close to that again.
Yep, agreed. He'd definitely come in under-owned if these guys sat once again.
Yeah, and if Mobley misses, it's a boost to everyone else in the starting lineup. Jared Allen kind of burned everyone yesterday, and he's been like every other game he's going off. He's either going off or just killing your lineup. I don't think his ownership's going to come up that much. See how the model reacts if Mobley gets ruled out, but I don't think I've ever seen Jared Allen with the same OF index as Mobley when they're projected for similar minutes. So that's something to keep an eye on. Model really likes Jared Allen in this matchup.
Yeah, and didn't he have a pretty good game against? I know we hate looking at one game sample sizes, but the last time they played Houston, he had a pretty good game.
Was that the one he had that 50 ball? Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, 32, 34, 36 minutes. That's what I care about the most. They blew out Phoenix by, 30? He only got 22 minutes there. He had this terrible game against OKC. Yeah, we're just playing him hoping he puts up something like this.
Yep.
Let's do Toronto and Atlanta. And I am behind pace, guys. Sorry about that. Every day. Scotty Barnes, one of the top plays in the whole model, not pulling heavy ownership, 18 and 21. It's still a little higher than you'd like to see. RJ Barrett, double-digit OF index under 8K on DraftKings seems pretty good. And then I'll mention Jakob Poeltl, pretty strong value. And then at the low end, Davion and Chris Boucher if you need even more value on this slate. I think there's a lot to look at on Toronto. Which pieces are you looking at the most?
Yeah, so definitely Scotty once again. He started out really hot last game against Atlanta, cooled off in the second half. I think I'm probably going to go back there once again. Good matchup. I know it's Dyson Daniels guarding him most likely, but still love him here. So like Scotty, and then RJ Barrett had a pretty bad first half last game. Started to get it going. I think he's firmly in play once again at small forward. And then I did want to shout out Bruce Brown. Played him the past 3 slates. He's been nuking in his minutes, but he's still 4K on DraftKings, so I don't hate coming back there once again.
Yeah, man. One of our members sent me a message the other night about Bruce Brown, and my response was like, good luck with that. And yeah, he did very well. So he's been pretty good 4K. It's like we have an abundance of value today. And I want to say Bruce Brown is like that GPP value because he's less secure than the other guys. I mean, he's only been playing 20 minutes, but he's been playing really well in those 20 minutes. What did the model? Model says you can just not even consider him. But do you guys remember when Dennis Schroeder was on that tear? And then he got traded to the Warriors, and there just wasn't that much data on him. He was showing up with like single-digit DK value. I'm thinking like Malcolm Brogdon, kind of the same thing when he entered the rotation. Just the model did not know how to read him, and he was doing pretty well. I don't think Bruce Brown is as bad today as the model is kind of implying he is here. Maybe it's just not reading him right. But if we have him projected for 22 minutes, he looks better than what the model implies. So I think he's fine on DraftKings.
Yeah, and then my kind of take on Chris Boucher is I think he's fine, but I don't know. Minutes are always a concern with me. Did you have a kind of a huge take on Boucher here?
I mean, we haven't projected for 19 minutes. He's only 3,200. He has that power forward eligibility, which is huge because we have a bunch of like super cheap guys today. It's just which positions can we slot him in. I'm playing Chris Boucher pretty comfortably today. He should play the backup center minutes because Kelly Olynyk's out, and that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I think he looks solid. I just wanted to mention Brown just because he's been nuking. So
that might be a couple more minutes for Jakob Poeltl too. We have him for 31.4 minutes. Kind of like Jakob a lot. Models identifying him as a pretty strong play. No Kelly O. It just maybe he plays extended minutes. And they play these two alongside of each other. So it's not just, okay, Chris Boucher is only going to back up Jakob today. Maybe if they're both playing well, they'll both see the court. It's a little awkward against Atlanta, though, I guess. Got to ask about Bruce Brown and Ty Jerome. Covered it. Ty Jerome would feel more comfortable if Karis LeVert's out, but Bruce Brown's fine, too. Missed this one with Wade out. Who gets the minutes? So if Mobley's out, I think George Niang gets the start, and then he's also going to show up as one of the top values of the day. What do you think about that?
Yep, agreed. I think Niang would look better. Still don't know if I'd get a ton, but he'd definitely get a boost.
Yeah, I'd be interested. It's just if Mobley's out, he's going to look really good. With Mobley in, I don't think we have to consider him too hard. Just maybe like a large field GPP value play.
Yep.
Remember, Bane is a good play tonight. I mean, this Memphis game is like a gold mine for fantasy. Yeah, we'll get there after Atlanta. Ben Simmons just got late scratched. I think that game started already, right? Or did it start in 12 minutes? It's it's on the early slate.
Let's see here. I didn't play the early stuff, but let me look. Yeah, it's already started. So yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Jared Allen or a Kongwu in a GPP until they raise the 6,200 price. Dude, why is he only 9% owned? Like, yeah, Capella's back, but eh. This might be close to appropriate, actually, but the model's still identifying him as like an insane value. An 11.7 OF index at 6,200. Like, that's actually kind of absurd. Like, Onyeka Okongwu. Because remember, for NBA, OF index is not price sensitive. The value columns are price sensitive. OF index is just straight projection. And the model has Okongwu as like a better projection play than KD, Nikola Vucevic, LeBron James, De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker. And we haven't projected for 31 minutes. It's a little bit high, but even if you take away like 3 minutes, just reduce this by 10%, he's still in the 10, double digits at his price, which no one else at 6,200 is. So Okongwu, awesome GPP play. I don't think we jam him in like we did the other day, though.
Yep, love that Okongwu shout. I think he's definitely good. Definitely not as good as he was the other day, though. Yep.
Just a big deal like Capella's back. If Capella was out, yeah, we'd be all
Yep.
over Okongwu. Because remember, Jalen Johnson's going to miss some time, dude. Hate to see it. Had a ton of Jalen Johnson last time. Destroyed me. Ricochet is still out, and we just got that news. Hunter's out. So Trae Young, I think he looks good. I think he was the second top play on the model. No one wants to play him. 10 and 11%. Definitely killed me yesterday, dude. Would have shipped if he just had a normal game, but I'm over the field on Trae Young. I like it.
Yep, great matchup in tournaments. Definitely like Trae Young in tournaments here.
Dyson Daniels had a monster game last time. He's only pulling 1% ownership on DK, 15 on FanDuel. I think this is a little bit wide of a gap, but I kind of understand because his steals are so valuable on FanDuel. Do you like taking shots on Dyson today?
I think I'd rather get there on FanDuel with the extra bonus, but he's still fine on DraftKings, but I don't necessarily love it.
Yeah, I think I agree. He showed up in 2 lineups for me on DraftKings, which I'm fine with. And then I'll just mention Bogdanovich finally remembered how to play basketball, and model is identifying him as a decent value. I'm pretty sure the model's been telling us we can fade him, but for some reason today against Toronto, it really likes him 4,400 at 6%. If we had less value and less games on this slate, I'd say let's try it, but I don't know. If you're high risk, you can play a couple percent. I'm not going to go there today.
Chuck, I can't play that guy anymore. He's lost me too much money.
Just like it's like we can't even bet his unders because the lines are so low that we could. They all would have hit, but it doesn't really make sense. Let's talk about Memphis, the Memphis side first. So Utah Memphis, this is the highest total game of the day, 247.5. Fantastic game for fantasy. Not that much ownership though. So let's see where we can get over the field by OF index. Ja, JJJ, Desmond Bain, and we just got a new update on Ja. He remains probable. We're going to assume he plays. From these top 3 guys, kind of like getting to all of them. Maybe a little bit less Ja since we have other point guard options, but JJJ and Desmond Bain, I like getting over the field on.
Yep, you nailed it. I think JJJ and Bain both look good. Huge total, 248. Both those guys, even with Jawin, should look pretty good in tournaments. So, particularly JJJ though, like him in this follow up.
Yeah, he's the guy that I'm getting the most of. I'm over the field on DK over this 18%. Desmond Bain, I'm not quite at the field, but I think I need to bump him another minute or 2. Zach Edey, I'm taking a couple tournament shots on, and then Luke Kennard just blew up yesterday, but he started for Ja, so don't expect that again unless Ja's a late scratch and Luke Kennard gets to start again. With that said, at 4,400, 4%, I don't think he's the worst play if he ends up in some lineups, but not a guy I'm targeting at all today.
Yep, agree. He was a good play yesterday, but today with Ja back, probably off there.
If it was another 3-game slate, then yeah, I'd be interested in playing Luke Kennard in this situation, but we just have too many other options. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. off the bench, I don't see a reason to play him if Ja is, and we have other stronger value projected for more minutes.
Yep, I'm off him tonight as well.
On a non-football Saturday with no MMA, why is the top NBA contest only 50K to first? I don't know. Did it even fill? It's not even full yet.
Yeah.
Oh, it did fill.
Contests were really.
Yeah, never mind. It did fill on DK. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know how much bigger they can make it. 250K. I don't know. People are fed up, dude. With the NBA reporting, it's just been awful. How screwed we're getting after lock. There's nothing we can do about it.
I mean, dude, like there's no NFL today either. Like why are we saving it all for tomorrow?
Okongwu's a huge play. Jalen Johnson's out indefinitely. Yeah, I got to think that's why the model is so into Okongwu today. Maybe we get him and Capella next to each other for a few minutes now because Ricochet's out too. That's kind of a big deal. Nance is a GPP shot. Did we just skip? I skipped Larry Nance when I was talking about Atlanta. Did we not have him for 10 minutes? We don't even have him projected for 10 minutes. He is back. Now, here's the thing. Larry Nance is a guy that transcends projections. And so if you want to play Larry Nance, you're hand building a lineup. I'm not going to stop you. He's the flat min projected. I don't even know what we haven't projected for. We haven't projected for like 8 or 9 minutes. I think that's wrong, though. He should be projected for 15 plus. I mean, the problem is he takes up a center spot, and then you have to look at him versus Diabite, who's also the flat man, and it's just really, really awkward and really unlikely to be the winner if you play both of them in the same lineup. So, I don't know. What do you think about Nance?
Yeah, I wasn't really getting there, but I mean, I guess you can maybe get to him. I'm not gonna get there though.
With that said, let's say Nance comes in at like 1 or 2% ownership. Diabite comes in at 60% ownership. Diabite is not going to outscore Nance 60 times to 1 or 30 times to 1. And so if you look at it that way, Nance is fine. Just so risky. If you're playing a turbo slate, I like it a little bit more on the main slate. I don't think it's necessary because even if he goes off, you can still win a tournament without him today. Like you can probably miss on some like chalk pieces that go off and you're fine. There's a lot of games on the slate.
Yep, and we have a ton of other value too. So
Utah side. Keontae George with the highest OF index on this team, way higher than Laurie, way higher than Colin Sexton, and then Walker Kessler second up here. What happened? What a fall from grace for Laurie Markkinen, huh?
yeah, man, he's been very very rough this year. Shooting overall, it's a bad year.
I wish Sean Collins was in because he's only 6,600 on DK, but he's out. Cody Williams is out. Clarkson's out. Johnny Juzang is out, if that matters. Not getting much exposure to this team. As always, I like taking GPP shots on Walker Kessler. And even though the model's telling us Keontae George is an awesome play at 6,800, I can't get there.
Yeah, I don't have any exposure at all to Keontae today.
Mentioned like Isaiah Collier for 24 minutes sounds right, but the price is just not playable. It's tough. This is a tough team. Maybe if we get like a weird starting lineup, we can swap onto someone, but otherwise, I have 6% Walker Kessler, and that's about what I'm going to have from this team.
Yeah, and 12-point spread. It's still fun. I just don't like Utah overall here.
Let's see. Trae Young is sus. I mean, dude, he's been so bad, but he does win tournaments sometimes. GG Jackson. Yeah, let's take a look at GG Jackson real quick. Forget about this guy. Gregory Jackson. We haven't projected for 18 minutes. He is also the flat min, but he has small forward, power forward eligibility, 8%. DK value, model's telling us he's okay. Like I'd like to see this a little bit higher since he's so cheap, but at the 18 minutes, he's worth taking some shots on for sure.
Yeah, I think I'd much prefer him to Larry Nance at 3K.
Zion and Trey Murphy, a good start versus Hornets. I don't think Zion is. I just don't think that he has the ability to play the minutes that we need. I know he's gone off in short minutes, but you can't expect that every game. And then Trey Murphy, I think he's like a GPP play. He's fine.
Yeah, Trey Murphy's fine. I don't love it.
If Nance starts at the 4, we're definitely going to be more interested in him, even though he's center only. Yeah. The tough thing, though, is we're already going to have a lot of our center spots probably taken up by Diabite. And so, like I said, just be careful if you're playing Nance and Diabite in the same lineup. It's going to be really hard to win unless they both go off and you nail every other position. Keontae Flyer against Memphis defense. Oh, you'd rather take a flyer on Sexton. I don't think I want anyone from that team. I talked about a fantasy gold mine, but the prices are bad. So it looks like I'm getting to the Memphis side, but I might have to force in a couple Utah guys. Just, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's always tough with Utah.
Miles McBride taking some mid-range shots before tonight's game. Does this mean Josh Hart is out? That's one of my favorite comments I've ever read. I have to assume Miles McBride takes mid-range shots before every game.
Is that a Brian Jester? I'm just kidding.
Our boy Brian grinding these bench players. Yeah, so we got to finish up these last couple games quick. I did it again, but Philadelphia, I think Gershon Yabusele looks like an awesome play. Models telling us we can kind of fade him a little bit. He's only projected for 15 and 11%. Wouldn't be surprised if he came in a little bit higher. Drummond's out, KJ Martin's out, Caleb Martin's out. Did I just say the same thing twice? KJ Martin and Caleb Martin. And then Joel Embiid is out. So, like Gershon, I've been talking about how bad Tyrese Maxey is, but I'm getting there today. Kind of want to get away from PG if I can help it. And then I think Kelly O is actually kind of the key to shipping on the previous slate. Don't mind taking shots on him again at 6,100. The 69 on FanDuel seems a little bit high.
Yep, love all of these guys in tournaments. I just always love targeting Chicago. I think all of them, George, Maxey, Oubre, even Yabu, good spots. So I think George, contrary to you, I think George is probably my favorite, but also I like Maxey up top. So I think they're all good plays.
And what I've been talking about, how bad if like you haven't been tuning into the last few shows when Philadelphia is on the slate. 40 minutes, man, 41 minutes. Because what I talked about is when Embiid's out, it's harder for Maxey to get his shot off. His efficiency tanks, which it did, but he's still doing it. I mean, he's getting these auxiliary stats, which are really important for him. So, we need him to score over 30 points, but like on today's slate, this 52 isn't going to cut it at the price. We really need these blow-up 59-point games, which I think he has it in him, especially against Chicago.
For sure, yeah.
Anything else? Justin Edwards had a pretty big game yesterday. Are you interested in taking shots on him today?
Oh, man, he's difficult. I think probably not, but maybe like 1%. Did you have a different take otherwise?
I tried. I bumped him. I gave him good minutes, and he didn't show up for me. There's just too much other good value on the slate. But if he shows up for you, I don't hate it. I think it's okay.
Yep.
Not my first choice, though. Chicago. Let's see here. Vooch, Levine, Giddey, all double-digit OF index. They're all pulling a little bit of decent ownership. Kobe White is out, I believe. I think we got IO ruled in. So these minutes should be pretty close to accurate. What do you want to do with Chicago?
Yeah, so for Chicago here with Kobe out, I think the play I kind of wanted to cover was Lonzo, actually, 4,500. I think he's a good contrarian value. He's still probably only going to play 25 minutes or 24 minutes, but I do like him on his ownership. So like Lonzo, and then I played Vooch two slates ago against Golden State. He did awful. I'm fine going back there in tournaments. No Embiid, obviously, so good matchup for Vooch as well.
Yeah, man. Vooch, just go off, dude. Take over. It's a pretty decent spot for him today. Models identifying him as a good OF play and a good value on both sides. Like this 14.2 FanDuel value is actually really good for Vooch all the way up here. So very, very good tournament play on FanDuel particularly. Still great on DraftKings. Over the field on Giddey. I don't know. Jalen Smith just shows up in lineups every day. Model thinks he's okay, but I don't know that we need that since we have those other really strong min-price guys. But I guess Jalen Smith exists as another pivot. And then Zach LaVine, what was his ownership? A little bit low. I don't have 10%, but I don't mind Zach either.
Yeah, good game environment for Zach as well. I didn't have that much either.
Not sure if I said it, but I do like that Lonzo ball call. Very model approved for value. Low owned.
Yeah, definitely a good low owned.
Lakers. So LeBron got downgraded to questionable. And so I really hope he plays. I took all his overs today. It's a really good spot for him. If he's out, we're obviously going to be very interested in AD. I think we should have interest either way. It's pretty low owned. And I saw someone mention Austin Reeves in the chat earlier. Yeah, especially if LeBron's out. I know the price is a little bit scary, but he's going to be great. If LeBron's out, the usage just goes up.
Yep. Kind of like Cat, I think AD would make sense up top, especially if LeBron's out here. Pretty good matchup, too. No Draymond. So definitely like AD, LeBron sits here.
I'm going to have to adjust some stuff, and I haven't reran with all the new value, but I'm not getting that much of LeBron and AD. like I thought I would, but I think I just need to bump him a little bit. I want to have some exposure to the Lakers. And then on the other side for the Warriors, Wiggins probable, Pajemski probable, Gary Payton probable, Draymond and Kuminga are out. I'm looking at Steph and Wiggins mostly. What are you looking at here?
Yeah, so for Golden State here, run back here with the Lakers from Christmas Day. I think Steph Curry obviously looks great. He always loves playing against LeBron here, but outside of Steph, I really wasn't getting too much here for Golden State. You mentioned Wiggins. I think he's fine. I didn't really have very much, but it's a good spot for him.
I have 3% on DraftKings. It's just that's the only other exposure I'm getting to this team. I have 15% Steph. Looks like I'm a little over the field. Well, I'll point out with Wiggins again, a few games ago, we had Wiggins showing up with a really strong OF index, really strong DK value. Model was telling us he was the best play on the slate in that matchup, and he was today. And since then, the model's not telling us that. So at 6,300, he's okay. And that concludes FanDuel. Did you have something you wanted to add, Jayhawk?
I was just gonna throw out the news real quick. We just got
What do we get?
no Jose Alvarado starting. They're starting Jordan Hawkins, and then the chalkiest play on the slate. Diabate is not starting. Taj Gibson got the five.
All right. So my first reaction is we don't want to just go and play Taj Gibson because that's dumb. Now it becomes a worry how many minutes we're going to see for Diabate. Jayhawk, are you cool going a couple more minutes? I know you have the Q&A also, but we have a bunch of viewers in here. Kind of want to get through this. Let's finish this last game that's on DraftKings, Washington and Phoenix. I don't know that I was getting too much from here, so it should be quick. Poole, Sar, Kuzma, all tournament plays, and Koulibaly, tournament play.
Yep. I wasn't getting much here from Washington. Maybe Poole or Sar, but I really don't like Washington here.
I'll point out the model likes Bub Carrington. I believe ESPN changed it to Bub Carrington, which is super disappointing. Carlton Carrington has a better ring to it. But really good DK value at low ownership. Maybe he's a value piece that goes overlooked. And if nothing else, it just saves the roster spot for the latest game. So when other news does open up, it's easier to swap. Sar, he's okay. Poole, I think, is the guy that I'd really like to get from here. But 18% on DK, 6,700 seems fine.
Yeah, I just had a tough time kind of navigating Poole versus Kuzma. I don't know.
Well, Kuzma sucks. We're not navigating Kuzma because he's just bad now.
Yeah. It's
28 minutes, 33, like 3 for 12, 5 for 13. What are you doing, dude?
I played him against LA the other day, but other than that, I haven't played him a lot this year.
He's been showing up for me because he's so cheap, and by the model thinks he's a piece of shit, man. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have 8%.
Probably right, to be honest with you.
Other side, last game for DraftKings, we got Phoenix. Let's take a look here. I'm getting modest ownership to this team again. I'll mention Nick Richards is showing up as a really strong value. His rebounding opportunities have been insane. He's doing what Nurkic could not for this team. Projected for 6% ownership. Yeah, we have infinite value at center today, but 6%, I have 4%. I'm okay with that.
I actually really like the Richards shot by the model there. Great matchup against Washington. Good producer. I like him a lot in tournaments.
I had Ryan Dunn showing up for me earlier. I'm not sure that I still will now with all that other value that opened up. I need to rerun. And then I'm taking some shots on Devin Booker. Not really on KD, though. I think this is a position thing because I have him projected basically exactly the same. Actually have KD projected slightly better. And so it's just got to be positions where I have more of a need for Devin Booker rather than KD at power forward.
Yeah,
they're both great.
I was getting slightly more Booker, but I like both them a ton in tournaments.
I'll mention Tyus Jones at 4,400 showing up as a strong DK value as well, and that'll do it for me for this team.
Yep.
Do you want to try to build a quick dummy?
Right.
I don't know what we do. I think we just leave Diabate out. He's still 3K off the bench. If he still plays like similar minutes, he's still a fine play. It's a lot more risky now, and I question if the field is going to swap off, meaning he's probably going to come in higher owned than he deserves. So, yeah. Mobley's in. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's sharp to be off We have diabetes now. Sorry, I can never pronounce the word.
Diabate.
Diabate, diabetes, whatever his name is.
Krejci or Smith Jr. If that's Nick Smith Jr., I'm gonna go with him. Pretty sure that's what or does the model have that? Nick Smith. Yeah, model has Nick Smith. Hawkins. Jordan Hawkins. Yeah, that's Smitty's boy. So Hawkins. Karis LeVert's out. So fire up Ty Jerome, fellas. And I'll mention him again. Sam Merrill. He came in and hit 3 straight threes when he came in the game yesterday. I don't know what he finished with, but I mean, Ty Jerome went off yesterday, but it didn't matter. So it didn't matter. But Sam Merrill exists. Say that. Trae Young or Zion. Model has Trae Young by quite a bit. And yeah, Ty Jerome's definitely a play. We're actually going to, and Daniels or Amon Thompson. Amon Thompson. All right, Jayhawk, first guy into dummy now that Diabate is a mystery.
Ooh, probably either one of LaMelo or Bridges.
Oh, God. All right, let's do LaMelo because I don't like Bridges. Let's just sort by DK value. Diabate still showing up. I mean, make sure, and this is why you guys should sign up for the site. We have plans starting it as little as $7 a week. That's $1 a day. So you can see the model update after the stream ends because honestly, this is for like Jose Alvarado, Diabate. You have to know how far off this is because I'm pretty sure these are both going to come down. Did you want to throw either of those guys in there, though?
Oh, man, it's tough because I feel like they're both going to be super overowned. Let's go. I'm going to go a little bit off the page here. Let's go Jordan Hawkins. I know Smitty's tuned in. I love him tonight now.
Yeah.
Starting here.
And I just remembered somebody asked about David Roddy earlier. David Roddy is being identified as one of the strongest values on DraftKings today, projected for 0% ownership. Yeah, I think this is a spot we can fire him up. Remember, this isn't the type of play that you jam in like 20% of your lineups. Take a couple shots. If you're playing 20 max, maybe put him in 2, and that's already kind of a lot. What pay-up's your favorite, other than LaMelo?
Ooh.
I think we got to go with Cat, right?
I was going to say Cat. Yeah, I love Cat.
Should we go with Cat, and then which value center?
Oh, man, this is tough now. Definitely not Taj Gibson.
Yeah, we're not playing Taj Gibson today, fellas. I think we have to play one of these value centers, though.
Yeah, probably. We can just throw in Diabate.
I was going to say, let's throw in Diabate, and for those of you watching, just that's like a placeholder. It's not us saying Diabate. He's fine if you want to play him off the bench. I just don't know that his ownership comes down to where it should. Small forward, Amon Thompson.
I like it.
Leaves us 5,300 for each position. Let's see what other value we need to get to here. Nick Smith at 4,600, small forward eligible. We'll do that.
Love Nick Smith.
Nick Smith, power forward. What do we got here? I mean, I'd consider a Kongwu. Don't really want to put him in the dummy here. I'm going to throw in David Roddy. We're probably the only site projecting him as a strong value. I'm sure other sites mentioned his name, right? But last time this came up, shipped a tournament with him at like 0.1% owned. He's not going to be 0.1, but he will be forgotten on this slate. Leaves us 8,300 for maybe a Desmond Bain, CJ McCollum, Paul George, upgrade one of the other positions, get someone else. But yeah, something like that.
I like it. Yeah, Roddy's 3K too, so we can easily nuke that price. He's a good producer.
You won the main yesterday, so you're taking today off. Are you crazy, dude? You got to defend your title, man. Like, wins come in 2s or 3s. Like, if you win once, you have to play the next couple of days because you might win again.
You have to, even if it's not a lot.
Watch Taj get the start, play 12, and Diabate get 30. It's probably the most likely outcome. I think that's a little extreme, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Diabate played more minutes. Can we talk about how trash Micic was yesterday? What is there to talk about? He's so bad, dude. He tricked all of us, and he's going to keep tricking us because he's going to keep showing up as a good play, and we're going to keep doing it. And then McCollum, yeah, strong GPP play. Should you pay up for Towns or Melo? I think this is more of a decision. Do you want the value point guard or do you want the value center? And I even forgot about Ty Jerome here. Yeah, Ty Jerome leaves us 4,200 to upgrade anyone. It's a pretty clean day. I would say diversify if you're using a optimizer that allows you to put uniques, put more uniques today. And if you're using the builder, use like medium or high. Jayhawk, any final words? I know you got to get to the Q&A.
Yeah, crazy slate. Hop in the Discord if you're part of Occupy, and I'll do my best to break down all this news.
McCollum or RJ Barrett straight up. I'll just answer that one real quick. I thought it was going to be RJ Barrett, but I don't see his name at the top here.
I'm actually going to go CJ on that one, but I do like him a little more.
CJ's way down here. RJ Barrett's a little bit ahead of him. Model has RJ Barrett slightly. When you consider the ownership, it's probably pretty close because RJ Barrett's projected for more ownership. If you guys want to hear Jayhawk talk for another 20 minutes, instructions to join the Discord are in the description below. We appreciate you guys tuning in today. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.